Hey guys, what's going on? Dan here. I'm with Emily. We've done a couple of videos in the past, not that many. We should do more, don't you agree? We are here in beautiful Walnut Ridge Acres. Let's go with that. Okay. What kind of office is this, right? I mean, sitting outdoors, right? So Emily's up visiting from Louisiana. It's probably freezing cold for you here, right?
Yeah, it's pretty nippy.
Yeah, fall weather for me. And Emily and I were talking about how regardless of whether you're Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, Louisiana, there's several common myths or misconceptions. Yeah, when it comes to, let's just put it all under the umbrella of RVing. So Emily and I are going to, we haven't rehearsed this, so we're gonna talk about 5, 6, 7 different ones that we hear all the time. And then we're gonna give you guys our opinions on it. I guess you could say we're experts because we do this all day long, every day. But again, some of this I would say is opinion-based information, especially when it comes to our first topic. So we'll just jump right in. You ready?
Yep, ready.
This one's one of my favorite, okay? We're gonna be relaxed. I mean, it's like a show here. We need a little set. First one I hear all the time is a customer will come in, they've never owned an RV before, and they'll say, I have to have, all my friends say I have to have a fifth wheel or a motorhome or a travel trailer or a fold down or a pop-up, however you want to say it.
Yeah, we hear that a lot.
You hear that a lot too?
All the time.
So, I'm gonna give you my opinion, and then you're gonna give me your opinion, okay? Here's my opinion. I have a travel trailer, you know that. I have a Puma, love it. Puma doesn't pay me. I think it's all about 2 things. 1, maybe 3 things. What you're gonna do with it, how much you can afford, and how comfortable you are towing it down the road. So my thought is when we bought ours, it was for vacations and extended trips. So we wanted to make sure we had something that was big enough that the whole family could fit in, but that was, that was comfortable for me to pull and that was affordable. So I know we did buy from Walnut Ridge before I worked here. I want to ask how you guys do it down there at Primo, but when we met with Nikki, our salesperson, she did an interview with us. Like, what are your intentions? You know, what kind of vehicle do you have? All these good things. And that kind of helped us steer in the direction that we went. But I'm interested to hear, like, what's your take on it and your process down there?
At Primo, we, as soon as the customer comes in, we do an interview with them as well. Find out what they're towing with, how many people they intend on sleeping in the camper. You know, any particular, you know, things that they want, outside kitchen, you know, bunks, whatever. And then the salesperson can narrow it down and take them out to show them. I think that, I'm drawing a blank.
You're fine. Just go whenever you're ready. We'll edit it.
Your friends aren't camping in your camper. You and your
Very
family
true.
are.
Yeah.
I think it goes by what you can tow with your vehicle, your family's needs, obviously how many people you're sleeping, what you're comfortable with towing, and what you like, what you prefer. Some people prefer cooking inside, some people prefer cooking outside, some people prefer bunks, some people have toys that they want to bring. So really, it's all about what you prefer.
Well, and you guys have motorhomes. We do not have motorhomes up here. Something else that I think about, when we get to our camping spot, we unhook the camper and then we have our tow vehicle to run errands or whatever. Like, so you may want a motorhome, but you also got to think about the fact that you've got to tow a vehicle behind you that you can drive around.
And now some people, you know, like to, if they have a bunkhouse and, you know, they have some friends coming along with them, they may want a motorhome so everyone can ride together. You know, having a truck and a trailer, you might not be able to do that.
That is true.
So it's all about really what the customer prefers.
So it's personal preference,
Definitely.
it's budget, and it's comfort level. You know, some people may not be comfortable pulling a 32-foot travel trailer down the road.
Some people might not be comfortable driving a Class A motorhome.
Right, so I feel like that's a pretty strong explanation of how we see myth or misconception 1.
Yeah,
you agree?
I think so too.
Okay, so on to misconception number 2, which Emily's gonna tell us what it is.
All right, so the next topic we're gonna talk about is the myths about buying from a dealership versus an individual and hidden fees.
Oh, great topic. God, we're gonna be here all day talking about this one, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's compare. A lot of people that I've talked to the first time they come in, they automatically have, let me back up. One of the things that you can Google or YouTube is RV dealer, and one of the first words that comes after that is scam.
Yeah.
And it's all these videos talking about scams. And listen, they're out there, don't get me wrong. I think you have the individual people that are scamming you, because if you're buying it from a person,
you have no clue what you're getting. Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, water damage isn't always visible.
Buying from a dealership, at least we go through the whole unit before, as soon as it gets there and when they come to pick up. So you know what you're getting. You get a full walkthrough, you get the whole,
You guys have as-is units as well?
Yes.
Okay, so to be really clear, let's new units, that's where you're gonna have all of the dealer warranties, factory warranties. You can buy the extended service contracts. You have the used units, which have been walked through, they've been checked out. At least I know at our dealership, and I'm assuming your dealership, we're gonna be up front if there are issues with that used unit. You can buy service contracts on those as well. Then you have the as-is, which is exactly what it says. These are kind of like what you're buying from an individual, but we're being up front with you and saying, there may be some stuff wrong with this, right?
Yes.
Right? So let's talk a little bit about the hidden fees. I know that, without naming dealerships or getting anything like that, there are a lot of dealerships that do hidden fees.
Yes.
So I think without getting specific, the safest thing to say is, we don't do hidden fees. You guys don't do hidden fees. And I think it's important you as the consumer, from the time they go to the dealership till they sign that paperwork in the finance department, ask questions. Don't ever feel intimidated, right? It's just like going and buying a car or anything else. You, the buyer, are in control, and don't ever feel like you've lost that control to ask those questions, because I'm proud of what we do here. I think you're proud of what you do at Primo, right? And it's important that people push us and make sure they're getting their questions answered, because when you're not hiding anything, it's kind of like when you were a kid and you lied about something, you kind of had that look on your face and you get caught in your lie. But if you're telling the truth, it's super easy. You're like, no, here's the paperwork, we're not lying, right?
Do your research on the dealership you're buying from and ask questions.
That's the key.
Yep.
Be an informed buyer. So this ties into part one, or myth one. You can do your research. You can study about what you think you want before you ever get to the dealership. Now, granted, we're gonna walk you through that in the interview process, but you can kind of have an idea what you want already, right?
And most customers do.
Yeah, and you can read and learn a lot about dealerships and hidden fees before you ever get there, but then don't lose that power once you walk in the building. Make sure you continue that on, right?
Yeah, make sure you continue to ask questions.
Number 2, done. Okay, here we go, number 3. I'm gonna hit you with this one. I didn't tell you about it before. You ready?
Yep.
It's one of my favorites. I'm a camper. I know you're not a camper, but I'm a camper. One of my favorites is camping is expensive.
We hear that a lot.
Right?
Yep.
So yeah, it can be, and that really depends on what you're doing. Like if you come here and you buy, a smaller entry-level model and you have a Chevy 1500 that you already own, it's not that expensive. No. If you come and buy a huge Class A motorhome, or you're buying a gigantic fifth wheel and you're going out and buying a F350 Super Duty to pull it, you're starting to get a little expensive.
And then it goes back to, it depends, on the customer's budget.
Yeah. Now, what I think, when I hear people say that, this is what I think. I think camping is expensive. So going out on the weekends is expensive, or making trips, okay? When we went into the dealership, like I said earlier, we already had in mind that this was gonna be our vacation. Like we were turning our vacations into this, right? So coming before that and going to condos, and either they're driving to the place or
flying,
which gets really pricey. So we go to Gulf Shores all the time. My favorite place. I've probably talked to you 100 times about it, right? $1,500, $2,000 for the week for a condo. $300 a person for airfare for 4 people if you really booked a year in advance. So what, that's another $1,100, $1,200 right there. So we're up to like $3,200, and we haven't ate anything, had some drinks, went out, bought souvenirs, you know what I mean?
Done excursions.
Right, right. Now, we spend a decent amount of gas money driving down there and back, but not anywhere near, you know, $3,000, $4,000. And then where we stay at in Gulf State Park, it's like $300 for the week.
Wow.
Crazy, right? And it is absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna put a link down below to my Gulf Shores review because I love it that much, and I think they will too. A little shameless plug for myself, why not? But I think this goes back to the buying experience. Camping is the same way. You know, if you're not planning your trips correctly, or you're not looking around at the different places you can stay, yeah, of course it can get expensive. You know what I mean?
Right.
But and you know a little bit more about this than I do, maybe a lot more than I do. Like when you talk about like the full-time RVers and you know, you see all those blogs and travel channels where they're working at the campgrounds that they stay at, they're working remote. You're one of those millennials that us old guys always talk about. Like your generation has taken to the road and you're doing your work on the road and you're just living the life. Why haven't you graduated to that yet? Why are you sedentary? But you know, hey, did I miss anything? Did I not hit all the major points? Like again, if you're eating filet mignons every night in your camper, yeah, it's gonna get expensive.
Well, and that kind of goes back to people thinking that, you know, you have to go somewhere, you know, out of state to go camping. Mm-hmm. There's campgrounds right down the road.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
there's plenty of options is what you're saying. I know there's a lot of good apps for your phone that you can pull up campgrounds. Yelp does great reviews on campgrounds. Google does great reviews on campgrounds. And I mean, even if you're taking an hour trip away from your house, you're still getting away, you're still sitting in the outdoors. I mean, it feels like kind of like we're camping now, doesn't it? Right? We need the little fire and the camper in the background.
All right, guys, number 4 is going to be a pretty broad subject. We're going to talk about safety, towing, comfort in towing, service department, things like that.
That's a big subject. All right, go for it, girl.
Tell me about your experience with towing.
Oh, so you're just going to immediately throw it over to me. I see how you are. Okay. Well, I can ramble, so cut me off. Okay. We started out with Sierra 1500. I don't remember what year it was. We were 2,200 pounds under our max tow limit. We bought the Puma, which was like 7,800 pounds, so we had 2,200 pounds roughly left over. Right. Okay. We got the equalizer hitch with the 4-point sway control. I felt great. I worked with the service department on what we needed. They set it all up for us initially. I never felt like I had a problem. Now I will say that a year later we upgraded to a Ford F350 that has the Super Cab. And it wasn't because of my comfort level with towing with the 1500, it was with having the room for the family in the tow vehicle. Right. And it kind of goes back to what we said earlier in one of the myths where you're talking about, you know, some people may want a Class A to have room for their whole family in it. Ours was, we don't want to drive 2 vehicles plus tow the camper. But I think I'd never towed anything, maybe a small boat before we bought our camper. I was a little intimidated when I came in, especially, you know, going through the orientation and then pulling out. And I want you to talk some to your guys' service department and how that works. Okay. But once you get out there and you start doing it, it's not that scary. Right. I mean, it's using common sense, making sure that you have the devices on your vehicle to help, proper brake control, proper sway control, good mirrors. And just driving smart, you know, like not tailgating people. Safety. Safety. Right. Just in general, realizing that you have an 8,000-pound thing behind you. Yeah, like that's never gonna go away, or at least it hasn't for me, even years of driving now. And I guess last, and then I want to kick over to you, it's being mindful of yourself when you're driving because, you know, going back to Gulf Shores, you know, that's a 12-hour drive. If I start getting tired, I stop driving. I just stop driving because there's no sense in putting myself or the family in a dangerous situation. Yeah. But I would say you should do that even if you're driving a Mazda Miata back from Gulf Shores. You know what I mean? Like those are just common sense. But, you know, talk about it from your side with how service department works or how a service department should work. Okay.
Okay, first I want to say that our service department does a really good job when customers come to pick up in the orientation, explaining safety, going over the hitch and the equalizers and sway control and all that. I think you said that you had switched vehicles.
Yep.
After you purchase your camper, I think you need to keep a good relationship with your service department, because if you do happen to switch vehicles, it's a good thing to always go to them for advice and what to do. If you do need to switch your hitches or adjust them or anything like that.
Those are great points. I couldn't agree with you more. One of the first things I did when I bought that 350 was immediately call here. And again, that was before I worked here. Called here and I said, look, I upgraded my vehicle. It's a different height. And one of the things I think we should point out too is the people at the service departments do this all day, every day, year round. There is no off season for them. And one of the things I had run into was all my friends or friends of friends, when they find out, I'm like, oh, I upgraded an F350. They're like, oh, take your sway control off. You don't need that. Or, oh, just plop it on there and you're good to go. My immediate thought, maybe I'm just boasting myself.
You're boasting yourself.
A little bit. But I'm like, why not go ahead and have the sway control on there? Even if I don't need it, extra safety. So I didn't listen to them. I called the dealership. I said, what do I need to do? I believe Mark even actually said, hey, I can walk you through it if that's what you need to do. If you're too far away to bring it here or something, like I can help you. But I ended up driving it over here. I was here 40 minutes while they leveled everything out. And then I left with comfort and peace of mind knowing that it was exactly, because have you ever seen those measurements? It's like measure the front tire, the back tire, and then go back and then remeasure this and do this and lower this far. I mean, I'm not good at math. I wasn't comfortable with doing that. You kind of just want to look back and be like, yeah, that looks pretty level. And they're like, no, don't do that. You know what I mean? So
let the experts handle that.
Yeah, just why not? If you already have the relationship, going back to that whole safety thing, let them be the expert and help you, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Great myth.
Okay, I want to talk about one more thing. Sorry, guys. Going back to the topic of decision making. We have a lot of customers that come in. They'll, decide on a small unit, and a year later they'll come back and want to trade it in because they didn't have enough space. And it can be, counter space, sleeping space, storage. It can go down to the size of your sink because you didn't realize how many dishes you were going to wash, or not be able to fit a pot in your sink. Things like that. I think that's really important for people to make sure that they know what they want, and they need to think about, not just right now, but in the future what they're going to want.
Yeah, no, that's an absolute great point.
You guys have,
We've had our little things, like overall we love our Puma, but when we go on that week-long trip and Sarah or I are doing dishes, because I share the dish responsibility, and you've got the smaller sink, and so you can't quite wash as much as you want, or you just feel a little bit cramped sometimes,
And, some people, they, don't realize that, in the future they may want to use their camper for work, and they might be living in it for weeks at a time, staying in it for weeks at a time. And that's just something that you want to make sure that you think about before you purchase. Anything else on that topic?
No, but I got one more that I want to throw in there.
What is that?
One more, and you're going to love it when I say it. Are you ready?
Baby.
Maintenance.
Oh.
Maintenance.
That's a broad...
It is, but I feel like we've been pretty captivating so far. We've been good. I ramble a lot, I get it. But being an RV owner and working on this side of it and seeing people bring their units in.
And don't you love that part?
Yeah.
Isn't this like amazing?
Oh, every day is like vacation for me. I mean, go out, take pictures of units, hang out in them.
New floor plans, just,
The open house was awesome, right?
Yes, it was.
We'll put a link down below on this, or actually it'd be up above on Facebook. We're going to put a link somewhere to our open house video that we did.
It was amazing, guys. It really was.
There's some cool stuff coming. And I'm always amazed at, you wouldn't think in that amount of space they could change that much.
I know.
But you're like, even the little things, like just the subtle color changes, and you're like, because let's face it, 15 years ago, campers were ugly. Like it was dark wood, dark furniture, carpet, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and now just slight color changes of the floor or the interior. It's amazing.
So there's one tip before we get into maintenance. Think about those things when you're buying your camper too, because I know you can take one of our Cougar models. We both carry Cougar. Yep. You can take a Cougar and you have what, 3 different color variations in a unit?
You have the same floor plan and walk in them and look completely different.
Yeah, they just have a completely different feel to them. So make sure you're asking those questions as well. There's a lot that goes into the
and make sure, you know, that you're not just looking at the floor plan, that you're actually looking at the interior and stuff, because, you know, 2 months down the road, you might be sitting in your camper and you might think, I'm not crazy about this interior, you know?
I don't like this dark chocolate with this dark wood. Yeah, I get it. So maintenance. Here, when I was a customer, I got a thorough talking to about the importance of the maintenance, not only for keeping up with your warranty stuff, but also just to help you have more comfort and peace of mind when you're pulling these things. You know, you and I are both on Facebook all the time. Yep. We both run the Facebook accounts. I see every once in a while, not a lot, where somebody will say, man, I wish they made these things better so they didn't fall apart going down the road. My comment back to them is, you're pulling this thing down the road in hurricane winds, you know, 70 plus mile an hour, and bouncing and vibrating everywhere. Things are gonna happen to your camper, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff you can do to protect it.
Yeah, prevent it. I mean. Right.
So here's what I've learned as an RV owner, that my service department is invaluable. Like, I love those guys. They're an email or a phone call away, which I love. I actually,
and a text away.
Text away now. Yeah, hey, you can text us now. But I mean, I think 2 weeks after I bought my camper, I had our service advisor's cell phone number. Who does that? You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe they don't do that with everybody. Maybe I'm special, I don't know. But just
don't flatter yourself, Dan.
I know. The basic care and maintenance, keeping your roof checked for leaks, checking the seals around your windows, making sure that you are winterizing your unit properly, making sure, this is the biggie. Did you see my video the other day where we pulled the brake apart and it went everywhere? Yep. So bearing packing and checking your brakes, checking your tires, like these are all things that everyone should keep up with. Once you buy these things, it's just like your house.
And I mean, even when you're out on the road, you know, simple things like checking your tires while you're out on the road when you stop for gas or things like that.
Well, not only will it change your gas mileage or your diesel fuel mileage, whatever you want to say, I can feel a difference going down the road. Like if I forgot when we left the campground, I'm only 10 mile in before I'm like, I've got to check my tires because they either feel sluggish or they feel too bouncy. Like, I can tell. So I think the thing that we can tell everybody is that maintenance is important, right?
Very, very, very.
It's back to having a great relationship with your service department, working with them on a regular basis, and don't assume that everything's fine just from looking at your camper and being like, everything looks great, right? All right, Emily, I forgot what number we were on because I ramble, and you know I ramble. But I think one of the last great things that we should point out before we end the video, and hopefully we do more of these, maybe we'll figure out a way where you can do them from Louisiana.
And we can tie them in together?
We tie it in together.
That would be fun.
That'd be fun. Accessories. Okay. I personally thought, to a certain extent, when I pulled off the lot, I was good to go. Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of other people do. Now, you and I aren't in the service building as much, right? But, you know, things to think about when you're buying, you're gonna have to have
sewer hose.
Stinky Slinky, call it by its name. You're gonna have to have a sewer hose. You're gonna want a water filter.
Water hose.
Water hose, water pressure regulator. Yep. What's another one? Let's see if you can get it.
Hold on, let me see.
Surge protector. I'm so glad you thought of that. Surge protector, levelers. Yep. You buy the bubble levels on the outside. They're a game changer. I can't even think of the name of them.
Chocks.
Chocks are a must. But what is the brand of that? You know what? Maybe it's better because then I don't look like I'm promoting it. But we have this really cool thing. It's red, and you drive your tire up on it, and the further you go, the higher it raises it, so it levels your vehicle.
Oh,
what is it called? Not road.
No. I can't think of.
They're great.
Yeah,
They're great.
I know what you're talking
It's little things like that because who wants to take a bunch?
You're talking about the things you can stack, right?
Yeah. Well, we have those, and then we have this other thing. It's red, and it's really thin here, and then it gets bigger, and you drive your tire up on it, and as you drive up, it basically raises you, and then you drive over it when you're done. Oh, it's amazing. But it's those little things that people don't think about that you're gonna need for your RV. So I think that goes.
It's another thing. Toilet paper.
Toilet paper.
Make sure to use RV marine grade toilet paper.
Deodorizer for your toilet.
Chemicals.
I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. And now we're not even talking about the decorating of it, the dishes, like all that stuff. But there are a lot of things that you're gonna need for your RV. So that goes back to the very first thing we talked about, which is when you're here to buy, make sure you talk to your service and parts department about all these other things you're gonna need. Pay attention for.
I don't know if you guys do this here, but at our parts department, before you come to pick up your camper, they do a full walk around. They measure all of your vents and stuff for bug screens and anything like that. So that's helpful.
Yeah, because you're not. I do remember briefly, or a little bit of that day. I mean, it was a big day, but there was a lot of information to be taken in. You know, they wanted to make sure I was comfortable, but they helped me a lot on those things of saying, oh, I never even thought I had to have that, or oh, I didn't think about that. You know what I mean? Right. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. It was a ton of fun. Emily, thanks for coming and shooting with me.
Thank you for having me up here.
I'm gonna have to come down to Louisiana next.
Yes.
And maybe, like we said earlier, we'll have to do from Louisiana and me from here.
Definitely.
So guys, leave a comment down below for us. Tell us how awesome we did or how bad we did, right?
Or how much Dan talked.
Or how much I talked. And if there's a myth or a misconception that you've heard that we didn't cover, share that below. Maybe we'll do another video.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love some user feedback. So thanks again, guys.
Thanks for watching.